Good afternoon. Welcome to Tulsa City County Library's Tools for Building Business series. I'm Martha Gregory with the Library's Research Center. Before we start, we want you to know that this event is being recorded. Our program today is Crafting Perfect Customer Profiles. This is the second of 3 sessions in this series. Recordings of all 3 will be available for you to access on the library's YouTube channel after the series is completed. All participants except the speakers are in listen-only mode, and we will use Zoom's chat feature for asking questions and getting answers. So please submit your questions as you think of them. To do so, click on chat at the bottom of the Zoom screen. The questions will be answered periodically throughout the presentation. We are so pleased to have Bill Carlson from Data Axle in Omaha, Nebraska, showcase reference solutions for us. The set of reference solutions databases was formerly known as Reference USA. Our library has offered these for many years. Bill has been with the company since 2008. During those years, he has worked with public libraries all over the country, teaching their customers how to use their databases. Data Axle Reference Solutions, like most of our databases, is on the library's website, available 24/7 from any place, anytime, and free to library card holders. If you want to get a card, just visit the library's website and you can order a free card online. You only have to work in or be a student in or live in Tulsa County to qualify. Reference Solutions is a heavyweight. Its group of databases has something for everyone. Collectively, these databases cover just about every household and every establishment, regardless of kind, not just businesses, but nonprofits, schools, government, etc. Virtually every address in the United States and Canada. Bill will now show us how to explore reference solutions for crafting perfect customer profiles. Bill?
Thank you, Martha, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I don't know if some of you may have been with us last Thursday. Last Thursday, we really focused on the U.S. business database for those individuals that would want to perhaps identify and maybe market to other businesses. So today we're really going to focus on our consumer information, and as a plus, we'll also cover our U.S. new movers and new homeowners. I can't think of a single entity, a single business that wouldn't want to know about new people who have come to the community, and this is a great way to identify those folks and perhaps even reach out to them. I do want to give you a quick tour of the database, just in case this is the first time that you've attended one of our presentations. I do like to point out under the Learning Center, there's some great information. Of course, you can always reach out to the library to get assistance, but no, we have our contact information embedded throughout the database so that you can feel free to reach out to us as well if you should have a question or need assistance, perhaps in building a search. I do want to point out the training materials that are under the training or the marketing and training tab here, and that's on this far right-hand side. So today we're going to cover the U.S. consumer lifestyles along with the U.S. new movers. Know that you can also have this information available to you to help you with that search. You could have it open on another tab, or you could even print it off if you'd like to. Know that that's something that's available to you. And I'll go back to my dashboard here. Oh, it did that again. It did that to me the last time I was in as well. Here we are. So I'm back at the main page. You would have access to our entire suite of modules, and the processes and the approaches that we're going to talk about today certainly apply to all of them. Know that you can, if you would like, you can download our app. There's no charge for this. Once you've downloaded the app and would like to use that, you'll be asked to put in your zip code, at which point in time it will give you a listing of libraries in that area. And then you would simply select yours and enter in your library card number and have access to 2 of our 10 modules here. That would be the US Business module and the US Consumer and Lifestyles module. And then last but certainly not least, we do give you the ability to create a personal account. By no means is it a shortcut. In fact, it's an extra step. You would log in through the library's site and enter in your library card number. And once you've landed on our homepage here, simply come in. And if you've already registered, then you can log in and get to any of those records that you wanted to save from a previous search. So we're saving the steps that you took to build that search, not the actual records themselves, because these records do update at different times throughout the week or month. For example, our US Business database, this information is being updated weekly. So as we get new data about a business, either newly opening or an existing business that we're re-verifying, we're pushing out all that information on Thursday night into Friday morning. So this is once a week, whereas our historical business information, this is being updated technically at the beginning of every new year. Our Canadian information is updated monthly, whereas our jobs and internships, this is a relationship that we have with Indeed.com. It's being updated every day. Our US new business filings, those are being updated once a week. And then our US healthcare, our standard white pages, our consumer lifestyles, and our Canadian white pages are being updated once a month. And the new movers, new homeowners, we're getting this information through our relationship with the United States Postal Service. We're fully licensed to bump our database up against the national change of address. So that's how we're populating this information as it relates to those new movers and new homeowners. And then we're comparing some of that information against county courthouse records. So we're updating this information every week. As I mentioned earlier, this is a great tool that I look forward to showing you. But first of all, we'll go into the US Consumer Lifestyles database. I'll go ahead and launch that. No matter which of the modules I open, I'm always going to come to this quick search page first. I could certainly do a first name, last name search. I could even do a reverse phone number lookup. I could look at all people within a given city or state, or even add some of these various categories. I can drill into these categories further once I've gone to advanced search. So let's go ahead and close that back up and go to advanced search. And by the way, additional filters goes to the same place, advanced search. So if I have a business and I'm interested in finding consumers that might be interested in what I have to offer as it relates to my business. And what comes to mind today, and I've seen a lot of local, we're in Omaha, Nebraska, and I've seen a lot of local ads for some national chains and some that are solely owned here in Omaha that are fitness facilities. I've seen a lot, heard a lot of advertisements on the radio. So imagine if you were a gym owner and you wanted to try and attract, certainly know with the pandemic that there have been a lot of people that have perhaps stopped going to the gym, and maybe they're doing their exercises at home, and maybe they've taken up running because they could do that anywhere and not necessarily in crowds. I know that gyms have certainly been impacted like a lot of other businesses since the start of the pandemic. So with that in mind, those gyms that are going to reopen may need to get out there and make themselves known again, because they need to fill up that client base that they had prior to the pandemic. This is a great way to do that. And let me show you, and I'll give you some examples here. We're going to look first, let's look at your county. So we'll go into the county selection for my geography. And all of these processes work the same no matter which module we're in. So I'll just come down here to Oklahoma first. And then I can start to put in, obviously, Tulsa, and the system will automatically try and assess what I'm looking for. I can add that to my selected field. And I could, by the way, maybe I want to add a neighboring county. I could be doing that. I can add as many counties as I'd like, or maybe I'd like to add a community that is near my county, and just look at that one city. I could certainly do that. Just depends on how I would like to build this search. Notice the next option here is contacts per household. So what that would mean is if there are 3 people that are living at that residence, it would give you all 3 of those records if we add that, right? So if you want 1 record for each address, you can change that up to 1 per household. It'll certainly drive in fewer records, but you'll get 1 of each, right? So that's the savings, especially if I was intending on maybe doing some mailings to these addresses to let them know about my fitness facility. I would obviously want to control that spend, so I could do that by deploying that 1 per household. Then it's a matter of coming down here into the lifestyles category and opening that up. And you can see we have a variety of different categories here that you can select from. Apparel, fashion, and beauty, if that were something that I were interested in identifying more of in a particular area, I could do that. And notice it breaks it down into these various categories. So it does get very specific. We were talking about those folks that might be interested in physical fitness or in health. So I do have a category. As you come right down the list, I have one that identifies those folks that are into health and diet and fitness. I can open that up, and I've got those 3 categories. If all 3 of those make good sense, I would just select it from right here. As you can see, it's going to highlight all 3 of those. Or if I wanted to be more specific, maybe I only wanted to focus on fitness, I could certainly drive in the information that way as well. Let's leave it at its entirety, and we'll have all 3 of those selected. And then it's just a matter of, so I have some additional categories. I could look at estimated home value or estimated home income. I can come down here under consumer snapshot, and maybe I want to be able to offer my services not only to mom and dad, but also those folks that may have children in their home. If that were something I wanted to do, I could certainly do that. It just depends on how I want to frame my search. Let's go down here under the income selection. So when I open up any of those income selections, it will give me these various ranges. So it starts at the under 20, and it goes, as you'll see here, all the way up to 500,000 plus. So if I have a clientele that I know probably fall into these ranges, let's grab some ranges here. Let's start here at 70, and I'll just grab a few of these ranges. Let's go up to 250. So I've got those ranges listed there. If that's what I need for or want to look at for those individuals that are going to be ideal candidates for receiving my marketing information, notice how many. I'm going to update my count. Notice how many I have around the community, and this is looking at it from a county perspective. Notice how many it's giving me around the county that match my criteria. And I might think, oh my goodness, I'm not going to probably want to do a mailing out to 26,000 plus people. That might be a little too large of an audience for me. So if that's the case, I can always change this back up and maybe just do the city if I would like to do it that way. So I could take off that county option and just go with the city. Now let's see with the city how many of those I may have. We know I had 26,000 before. I'm going to say go under this option and it will come up with Tulsa, Oklahoma. Click on it, add it to the selected field, and now I can update my count again. I didn't change any of that other criteria. I left all that the same. And now I've got 13,000, still certainly a pretty big audience for me to get access to that information. I do want to show you one thing here as I view these results. Now notice right off the bat, it does indicate that the telephone numbers displayed may be on the do not call list and shouldn't be used for phone solicitation. You could certainly, if you were planning on or needed to be able to make phone calls to folks about your product or your services, you can certainly get, you can contact us and there would be a fee involved for that. We could run your list against, and this could be your ideal list, just like I built this. We could run your list against the do not call registry and then send you a list with phone numbers included that you could call. Or you could download this list and you can send it straight to the do not call registry. Of course, they're going to charge as well, but you could run it through them and they would give you that list back with, again, those phone numbers that you would be able to call against. This is what every one of these records is going to look like. Let's take a look at this first one here. So I have that residential information, that address information. Now, unlike our business database, we call verify our businesses once a year to verify that they're in business under the same company name. We ask how many employees, etc. We don't do that with people, right? So we're getting this information from a variety of different sources. Magazine subscriptions that people are having sent to their home, warranty cards that people have submitted, surveys that people have done. I can't tell you, I know here at the office, and because prior to the pandemic, I traveled a lot, I get survey requests daily from different entities, usually travel related entities. And they're asking my opinion about this or that or the next thing. So we're getting that kind of insight from those surveys that are being completed. Membership subscriptions that people have. I was not in this database when I first moved back into Omaha, and I had a hunting dog, and I had started buying my dog food at Petco, and I eventually signed up probably within a month or so of having lived back in Omaha. I ended up being offered a PALS membership when I was purchasing my dog food through Petco. And I said, tell me about PALS. I don't know what that is. And so the lady behind the counter explained that it was this discount program and that I would be sent this information periodically about different discounts that I could get on different types of dog products. So I said, sign me up. And I gave them, my name, my address, and my email address. I make it a point never to give out a phone number. So probably within 2 months of, roughly, I was in the database as a dog lover. So we're getting that information, then matching that against address information. So everything we've seen about Sarah is that she's married, but we didn't call verify that was Sarah, right? Uh, I've got some estimated home income and home value. That's in part why this record came in, because of that information. And if you didn't know, we're getting this information through the Census Bureau, and where it says percent of owner occupied housing, in this case, it's 90, almost 96%. That information relates to the neighborhood, right? And then we make some adjustments based on information that we have about different geographies around the country, and we make some adjustments to those numbers. So we've got that neighborhood information. And then, of course, there are those lifestyle interests. Certainly, the reason this particular record came in was because of this interest in diet, weight loss, general health care, even exercise and fitness. So that's why that particular record was presented to us. And I do want to, I'm going to take you back for a moment, and I want to point this out. So it does note under lifestyles, it says here that we have this scoring system, and it's 0 through 9. We will only show you records like Sarah's of people who score a 6 or higher. So they have to be active in that category in order to have that record appear in this kind of a search. So I just wanted you to understand that it's this lifestyle information that's pushing or presenting that record to us when we do that search. So I have all of that information, and I would have similar information on these other folks as well. The tool I want to show you, there's a couple of tools I want to show you here that might be of value as you're considering how you want to go about some target marketing, right? We know we have 13,000. That's just bigger than what I intend on marketing to. And this charts tool will help you to perhaps how you might best consider that. So let's go under charts. And when I select that option, it's going to go with the estimated home value first. It's got those ranges, right, for income. I could switch it up to that if I would like to. So out of those 13,269 people in the city of Tulsa, I have this breakdown based on those income ranges, right? So my largest group at about almost 22% are those folks that earn $100,000 to $124,000 versus in second place here is at 70 to 79. And so on. You get the idea here. So I can get that kind of breakdown. Another way you might want to consider it is, and I'll forego the state, is the zip codes that people reside in across the community of Tulsa. So I could select zip codes, and I can get that breakdown. So now the top 7 zip codes in those areas make up this 9,500. So it already shaves some of those off. If I wanted to get to all of them, I could come down here to the full report. Notice that it's 3 pages in length. But so I've got my top 7 here. So in this 133, there are almost 2,600 plus folks that match my criteria that are in that area. So where's my business located? Is my business located in one of these zip codes? Obviously, I could quickly look at this. Maybe my zip code, maybe this is my zip code, and I have 543 of that 13,000 plus right here. So I could click on this. It will hyperlink me right into that group of those 543 results. And if I wanted to, what I could do is I have my own clientele list that I've put into Excel, and we're making this up as we go. So I've got my list in Excel of all my current customers. What I could do is I could compare this 543 against my current list. So that would require downloading the information. To do so, and I want to point out how many downloads you can do at a time. It's 250. Think of this as a batch. I can do a batch of 250, but there's no limit to the number of batches. I can do all 543. You get the math right. It's 3 batches. So in order to get all of this information out of the system and onto Excel, I can simply go to this box right next to the first name, put a check mark there, grab all of that information, and then it's just a matter of toggling to the next page. I can tell you there are 25 records per page here. So that'd be a total of 10 pages. So I can select that box, advance to the page 3, that box, you get the idea. You can get very quick at this. I'm at my 7th, there's 8, my 9th page, and now my 10th. So I would stop there at my 10th page and simply select download. At this point, if I intend on making mailing labels, which at this point of the in the process, probably not, right? So I could switch it over to Excel, no biggie. And then if I just need the name, address, and phone number, because I'm going to match against my records, right? So if I have name, address, phone number where available, and maybe my company's numbering system for my clients. Maybe that's all I have in my Excel spreadsheet. If that's the case, then I could come down here to this custom, because this is going to give me name, address, phone number, and some 10 additional elements. I don't need all of those. I could select custom here, and I could say, you know what? I want just the house number. I don't want a middle name. So I could remove that from my list. I don't want that pre-directional. I want my house number, my street. I could leave street suffix. I would definitely get rid of the post. Apartment number, you could choose to or not to leave that, up to you. My city, state, and zip code. Maybe that's all I need. If that's it, I can select download records. Notice I can also email them. So when I email that, it will come to me in Excel. Here's my record. And here's that information for all those 250 records. Now, what I would suggest is my pages are all static. You can't add anything more to my pages, but you could open your own version of Excel and then simply do a copy of that information and paste it into your own Excel. Once you've done that, you would minimize yours, come back here, close mine, and it leaves you here on this instructional page. Then you simply go back. It leaves you off on that page that you last left on, and I did advance to page 11. You're going to need to get rid of all these check marks. Otherwise, you'll keep producing the same records over and over. So at that point in time, just select revise search. It doesn't forget how you built your search. I've got my 543 there. Then I can view those results again. And then I can just go to page 11 here in this page box, type in 11, hit enter, and there I'm ready to go with my next group of 250. So I can continue to do that. And since I have 543, I'm going to have to get those last 43 in a separate download. But you get the idea. At that point in time, I can download all that information, and then I could run my current customer list against the ones that I found here of this 543 that match my interest, and that's in health and fitness. So I could easily compare my lists and any of those people that I didn't have as customers. And maybe I'm even going to include old customers' names, right? We know that people will join a gym and then they may go at it for 2, 3 months and then they quit. Something comes up, they quit. So I may even have an old list of customers that I could run this list against. Maybe I do want to reach out to those old customers, or maybe I want to save them for last. So I could be comparing that information based on what I'm finding here. Great way to be able to do that. And I want to stop here for just a quick second and see if there are any questions, because then I'm going to go back to that original listing of those 13,000.
Bill, we don't have any questions.
Okay. Know that there's nothing's off base or off limits. So feel free to ask any questions. If you would like, when I'm done here, if you would like me to build a search for you, I would be happy to do that as well. So I'm going to revise my search here. I've got that 543 that were based on those particular zip codes in the area. I'm gonna leave this page for a moment. I'm just gonna go back to quick search. I'm gonna clear all this out. And I'm gonna come back into advanced search. And I'm gonna grab those same, I'm gonna do single household. I'll do the city of Tulsa again. And I'm going to come down into the, let's see, we grabbed income and our lifestyles. So I'll grab that fitness. There it is, health, diet, and fitness. And I'm going to grab those same ranges. I had those ranges all the way up to 300,000. So there's my 13,000 records. I want to come back to this for a moment. I want to show you another tool, and I want to show you with that kind of view. So let me go into, we were in the charts feature when we were able to break out and get to those zip codes. Now I want to show you this heat map. It's a density map, and basically it will overlay across the community where these 13,000 are at. Give it a moment. So we can see here's downtown Tulsa, and we can see that there's this area here where all of those people, or a lot of them, tend to reside. So I want you to make a mental note, and I'm doing the same thing here. I can't quite see, oh, this is Jenks. It looks like, and Broken Arrow. So there's this V here. I'm going to point this out, and notice I also get those zip codes listed there. So I can always get to that kind of information, right? And I can even, if I change the zoom to on this map to where it's 300 or fewer records, and I'll just kind of reposition this. I'll drill in a little bit here, and I'm going to pull this down a little bit, get a little closer here, get a little closer there. Oh, one more should do it, I think. Yeah, oh no, darn it. Still not quite close enough. So eventually, and this tool is available in our business modules as well, when I get close enough and it's 300 or fewer records, it will give me this pinpoint type of look. So another way that you might consider using the database, it gives me this left-hand column with this information for those folks, and they all meet my criteria. And if I wanted to just note where this particular person was at in the map, I could click on that name and it takes me there. So know that you can certainly manipulate the map from once it's been presented to you. And we're looking at it just from a location standpoint. We could look at it from a home income or home value standpoint as well. All of this information can be printed off or can be made part of a PowerPoint presentation. And the same thing is true with the charts. I can tell you, I've done a lot of these presentations, and I know that lenders love to see. So if you intend on reaching out to a bank for for a loan for your business, they love to see this kind of insight. It just helps them to understand. Imagine a lender when you walk in and you say, this is my universe that I intend on selling to, and it's that group of these 13,000, and you show them this heat map with all those folks that are interested in health and fitness. It helps that lender understand the potential that's involved here. So, and we're just looking at one community, right? We can do this anywhere, and we can use larger areas. So the only maximum we have with this tool is 50,000 records. We can't go above 50,000 records. Let me go back to those results. And let's do this. So we talked about the charts, we talked about the heat map, of course, being able to download that, or you could print that information off if you'd rather. Certainly, if you've made a personalized account, you could save that search and come back to it at whatever point in time you would like to. Remember, this is going through an update once a month. So it's possible if you had saved a search and came back to it a month and a half later, it's possible that this number could have risen or fallen depending on people coming and going from your community. I'm going to revise my search slightly here because I want to show you another tool, and that's the map-based search tool. So we can add any other criteria that you would want to. Let's do this. How might I work that? Let's do this. I'm going to open up. I'll first get rid of the city option. And then I'm going to add another lifestyle category. So here's a section that refers to sports, right? So loosely related in some ways to health, diet, and fitness, right? I'm going to open this up and notice it gives you all of the various sports that we're tracking or keeping track of. So let's select them all, because I can't imagine that anybody would be involved in any of these sports wouldn't also be interested in health, diet, fitness, etc. So I'm going to select this entire universe. Now watch what happens if I add this entire universe to this universe. So my count now becomes a bunch. Oops, oh, what am I? I'm so silly. I forgot to add my map search. Of course, there's a bunch there. My goodness, of course. Let's do this. I'm going to go back. I'll cheat and just do the city real quick for this example. And then we'll open the map. Let's go. The nice thing is you can change your mind on a dime and do whatever seems to make sense to you to use for these various geography selections. So I'll go back in. We know that we had those 13,000 plus people that were into health and diet. So now I have 19,000 that also includes this sports. Now, if I want, I do have the ability, we're kind of separating these, right? We're keeping them in their own respective silos. Let's put them in the same silo. So here, I'm looking at any that match these two. Now I'm going to say only those that are selected. Watch what this does to my number here. Oh, it went down too far. Bill, you had such a great idea. I may have broken things. I'm going to go back to this. Make sure, because I want more than one record. You know what? I'm going to cheat and I'm going to take out these guys all together. And I'm just going to go there. And I'm going to take out these guys all together. And I'm just going to go, let's clear that all together. And then select it again. Now, those that match, is that going to stick? Oh, thank you, Lord. It must have become, it had been because I had those all open and I had been doing some jumbling around in there. So I have 8,000. Now I used to have 13,000 just in this audience. Now I've broken it down to 8,000 that are into both of these categories. So their records are going to look, very similar to what we saw. Oh, Sarah's still there. So going to look the same or similar. Now I want to revise this and I'm going to use, remember we had that imaginary V between Tulsa, Jenks, and Broken Arrow. So I'm going to remove the city state option and I'm going to open up this map-based search tool. I'm going to open that. And now it always starts off giving you this view of the United States in this upper right-hand corner, left-hand, the other hand corner, the left-hand corner, you can input, it could be a physical, it could be that fitness facility's physical address along with the city and state, or it could be just a zip code as it notes here. It could be the county and state. Just depends on how you want to drive in those particular records. Let's do this. I am going to put in a Tulsa zip code and we'll just use that as our zoom to, right? So I'll go with, let's go with the 74103. And I'll say go. So there's Tulsa. I need to adjust my map a little bit because we were talking about kind of this area between Broken Arrow, Jenks, and then Tulsa as being that area where a lot of those folks resided, right? So I have the ability using this tool to draw my own shape if I would like to. So I'm going to draw that V. I'm going to start off, and it's a single click to begin it, and I get to start, wherever I want to, right? I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to come down here towards Broken Arrow, and then I'm going to come over here. I'll stay on this side of the river. And I'm going to finish it right here. So it's a single click to begin it, a single click to change direction, and then a double click to finalize it. So it's telling me that that segment is about 4.3 miles, 38 miles. And I have a total of 4,542 people that are in that area that match my criteria. Holy cow. Nice problem to have, right? Maybe as I'm looking at this and I'm going, you know what? That might just be a bit too much. I can even do more drawing. If I wanted to, I could say, okay, I'm going to start here and I'm just going to come to this point and to this point, double click, Now I have 1,202 in that area. So if I like that area better, I can double click in here, exclude this first one, and just get that 1,202 records, and just have that group that I'm going to perhaps market my business to. So it's a neat way to be able to look at an area, especially since we had that visual impression in our mind's eye. Now I can use that same area by which to determine how I'm going to market to that universe. And if that were what I wanted to do, I can say done here. Oh, shoot, it's not going to let me. Maybe I can pull it down this way. So I can say done here and then get that 1,202. But I do want to show you this. I can also do a true radius. So if I wanted a radius option, I can select it and then you hold this. So if maybe I'm considering opening a fitness facility and I'm going to do it in this area. So let's say that my location is here. I can click, hold it, and drag it away. And I clicked too soon there. Bad, Bill. Let's come back here. I want to start here. Oh, why is it giving me that? I did adjust the map view. That might be if that may have done what. Just let's see if this will. It's still giving me a hard time. When in doubt, there's always more than one. I'm going to imagine down here, and there it is. So it's a click, a drag, click, hold it, and drag. And then let's say that I wanted to go out about 2.5 miles. Bingo, there I am. And then I've got 1,740 that match my criteria in that area. Or maybe this is where my business is located and I've got great customers immediately around me, but kind of out here in this perimeter area, not so much. I could take this same tool and start in the middle. Oh, I can't start in the middle. That's right. I got to get rid of that one. I have to come down here. Oh, I'll get you. So if I go there, aha. So I can make a donut hole. So I've got 852 in the donut hole. I can exclude them and then just get these folks in this area and be able to have those addresses. So if that's what I wanted to do, I could say done, view my results. There they are. Maybe that number is still a little bit too big for me. I could always chart this. I could certainly look at income. Maybe I want to focus on some of those higher incomes, right? So maybe I want to look at this universe and at this universe. I could certainly make those two the focus of my approach as it relates to being able to market to those two groups. Just depends on how I want to frame it. I could do this. I could even change this slide. And set that and get a new breakdown. So depends on what you want to be able to do ultimately with your results. Of course, I could do the zip codes as well. Again, it just depends on what I might need. Any questions on being able to get to those customers using those various options here?
We don't have any questions, Bill.
Okay, let's do this. I want to show you, we have just a few minutes left, so I do want to show you so I'll take this as my home key. select reference solutions, and it brings you right back here to the home page. I do want to show you our new movers, new homeowners. So let's open that one up. Again, I would go right to advanced search using this tool. And this is a great way to be able to look at your community. Again, I could be doing maybe just a few zip codes. It just depends on how I want to build this. I'll look at the city and go, and I'll do move distance and time frame. So I'll tell the system, Martha, how far is like Stillwater from Tulsa?
Oh, it's about, I don't know, 70 miles.
Okay, we won't go quite that far. I'll do the standard kind of 50. So I don't want to know about those people who've moved across town or have maybe moved from Broken Arrow into Tulsa. I want people that are that may not be aware of what I offer as a business owner. So I'll say, show me that 50 miles as the starting point, and I'll go out to 2,300 miles. And notice it will always give you the last 6 months, could be as recent as last week or within the last year. Let's look at just the last 3 months. So how many people have moved in the last 3 months from at least 50 miles out all the way up to 2,300 miles to come into Tulsa? I have a total of 976. And mind you, you could change this up if you wanted to change this from and make it 100 miles. You could do that, right? And get a new number here then. So it drops it down to 846. You get the idea. I could be adding home income, estimated home income or home value or estimated age. Maybe I want to focus on those age groups. I could do that. Let's look at this group. And there's a couple of ways. So obviously, I'm going to have that same information here. Now, I don't often see phone numbers listed in here. This information is coming through the national change of address. So rarely have I seen someone that includes a phone number. Every once in a blue moon, you might see that, but usually not. So this is what their records are going to look like. So Billy has moved from 441 miles away to come into your community. I've got that address information here. Now notice I don't have any of those indicators that they might be into health or fitness or sports. In this case, we decided as a company when we got the news that Billy had moved from wherever he lived before, we decided to clear out the consumer lifestyle indicators completely because we don't know that it will continue to be apples to apples, right? He may have moved to this new address in Tulsa because he's getting married. Or has gotten divorced, or maybe he was a dog lover at his old address, but he didn't bring his dog with him to the new address. Lots of things could change, right? So we decided to start them out at scratch here. That's why you're not seeing any of those indications. So we're not going to be able to tell you that he's into physical fitness. Maybe you want to focus on those estimated age ranges and make some educated assumptions about that. Just depends. But no, this is what you're going to see for that kind of information. We have the ability to chart this just like we did in the others. So I've got that home value and there's that income, right? I could, of course, look at the zip codes. Just depends on what I need to be able to do. Of course, I could use my heat map and see where people are moving to in the Tulsa area. And there seems to be a few hot spots here where you see those red areas. Where it's more yellow, of course, fewer in green, even less. I've got that same breakdown for all those zip codes. I can always get back to my results, and I could always add additional criteria if I wanted to. Now, maybe I want to focus on those people that I feel are going to probably be staying put where they're at. I could choose to include home ownership. Notice we have confirmed homeowner, probable, renter, and there really should be a fourth, but we don't call it a category. It's unknown. So let's say that I want to look at, of this 846, how many of them are confirmed or probable homeowners? Maybe I want to make that my first approach at this list, because those people are probably a little bit more grounded to that address versus that of a renter, right? So I can update my count, and notice I have 192 that are for sure confirmed or probable homeowners. Might be a great audience for me to try and attract some business from. So really, I always tell people sometimes the only limitation with using the database might be our imagination. You know, how we might apply different filters to consider different, questions that we might have about, in this case, consumers in an area. Any questions? Because we need to conclude our presentation today. I hope that you've gained some valuable insights about how you might be able to use the database to perhaps market your business, or as you're looking to open a business, how you might use the database to help you do so.
Bill, we don't have any questions.
Okay, Martha, or do you have any?
Well, yeah, I have a few words to say. One thing I want to mention is that we like to search on neighborhoods. We got some popular neighborhoods, for example, the Blue Dome District downtown.
Exactly. So I can always search by neighborhoods.
You can just put in search by neighbors a whole long, just about any neighborhood in the country. You can select that if you know the name of the neighborhood, Maple Ridge, whatever. You can search on those specific neighborhoods. So that's a really cool feature of the database. Bill, thank you so much.
Martha, I have to say something real quick.
Yes.
If in fact you didn't know the name of neighborhoods, you could always open the map.
Oh.
And there is an option in the map, and it will tell you the name of the neighborhoods, and it's under this boundary select, and it does give you those neighborhoods once you've, of course, drilled into a particular area. So that could be an option too.
Oh, good. That's good to know. Good to know about Bill. I think we can probably, anything else you want to show us?
Not that comes to mind right now. I think we've covered everything. You bet.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking us on a tour of these amazing business resources. We want to just finish up here with on offer that you can schedule a one-on-one virtual appointment with the Research Center staff for customized instruction tailored to match your specific needs. So if you wanted to use the system in any of these databases and you'd like to have some hand holding, we're glad to do that. And we can set up a virtual interaction showing you how specific applications of the databases. Just contact the library's Ask Us department. You can visit our website to find out how to access Ask Us, or their phone number is right there on the list, 918-549-7323. Thanks so much for coming. I'd like to say that join us next Friday. The last session in the series is on the next Friday, the 26th. And it'll be the same time, but it's on a Friday instead of a Thursday. And that's going to be on sizing up the competition. Just another application of these amazing resources from Reference Solutions. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Martha.